Welcome back to the Remodel Report from USA Cabinet Store. I am Chris, and today we are doing an episode I've wanted to do for a long time, because I think most of the advice out there on this topic is quietly wrong. Jessica, we are talking about cloudy shower glass.
We are. And I want to open with something that is going to sound harsh. If you have been scrubbing your shower door for a year and it still looks foggy, there is a real chance you have been solving the wrong problem the entire time.
Okay, unpack that.
So everybody treats cloudy glass as one thing: dirty glass. Buy a cleaner, scrub harder, repeat. But it is actually two completely separate conditions that happen to look identical to the eye. One of them cleans off in 15 minutes. The other one cannot be cleaned at all, ever, by any product.
And people cannot tell which one they have.
Nobody tells them how. That is the gap. So let us fix it right now, because the test takes about 60 seconds.
Go.
Test 1. Dry your fingertips and run them across the hazy part of the glass. If it feels rough, chalky, gritty, anything with texture, good news. That is mineral deposits sitting on top of the glass. Totally fixable.
And if it feels smooth?
If it feels perfectly smooth, like new glass, but your eyes are still telling you it is foggy, that is the bad one. That is etching. The cloudiness is coming from inside the surface, not off it.
Is there a second test to confirm?
Yes, and this one is really satisfying. Clean a small patch properly, dry it completely, then mist it with plain water and watch what happens. If the haze vanishes the second it gets wet and then comes right back as it dries, that is etching. Every time.
Why does that work?
Because etched glass is full of microscopic pits. Those pits scatter light, and scattered light is what your eye reads as cloudy. When you wet the surface, the water fills the pits and matches the refractive index of the glass, so light passes straight through for a moment. Then the water evaporates and the haze is back.
That is a genuinely useful trick. Okay, so let us talk about how glass even gets to that point. Because I think most people assume glass is just, inert.
Right. And it is not. Not even close. Shower glass is a sodium silicate, and the surface is microscopically porous. It has tiny peaks and valleys. And more importantly, it chemically reacts with water.
Glass reacts with water.
Continuously. So here is what actually happens, in 2 stages. Stage 1 is the boring one. Your tap water carries dissolved calcium and magnesium. Droplet lands on the door. Water evaporates. Minerals stay behind. Do that a few thousand times and you get the white haze.
And soap makes it worse.
Soap makes it much worse, and in a way people do not expect. Bar soap is built on fatty acid salts. When that hits the calcium in hard water, it chemically converts into calcium stearate, which is a waxy, insoluble, extremely sticky solid. That is soap scum. It is not loose dirt. It is a new compound that formed on your glass.
So it is not sitting there, it is bonded there.
And it traps water and minerals underneath itself, which sets up stage 2. Trapped water starts pulling sodium out of the glass. The sodium migrates into the droplet. And as it does, that droplet turns alkaline. Once its local pH goes past 9.0, it starts breaking the silicon-oxygen bonds that hold the glass together.
So the water is literally dissolving the glass.
Slowly, but yes. And the pitting that leaves behind is permanent. The restoration industry actually calls it shower glass cancer, which sounds dramatic, but the point stands. You cannot wash away a hole.
Here's something I want to ask about, because you mentioned it to me before we recorded and it completely flipped my thinking. You said a heavily fogged shower door can be in better shape than a lightly misted one.
It is counterintuitive, but it is real. If you get heavy condensation, the droplets get big and they run down the glass. Running water carries the leached sodium down the drain with it, but a thin, static film of moisture just sits there. The pH climbs, the attack proceeds, and nothing washes it away.
So, the guest bathroom nobody uses
can be in worse condition than the shower you use twice a day in squeegee. I have seen it.
Okay, let us get practical. Somebody has stage 1, the fixable kind. What do they actually do?
So first thing to understand is that soap scum and mineral scale need opposite chemistry. Soap scum is fatty, so you need a surfactant. Dish soap, basically. Mineral scale is alkaline crystal, so you need acid. That is why vinegar plus dish soap became the standard internet answer. It is genuinely a sound combination.
But people say it does not work for them.
And here is why. And this is the most important thing in this whole episode. Shower doors are vertical.
Ha, okay.
No, seriously. You spray your vinegar and gravity pulls it to the floor in about 90 seconds. That acid needs 15 minutes of contact time to break down a mineral crust. It is getting 1.5. So people conclude vinegar does not work, when what actually happened is the vinegar never got a chance.
So how do the pros solve that?
3 ways, and any of them beats buying a stronger product. First, the paper towel compress. Soak paper towels in vinegar and press them flat against the glass so they stick to it. Re-wet them every 15 or 20 minutes. For a really neglected door, keep that going for an hour.
That is going to look absurd.
It looks completely absurd and it works better than anything you can buy. Second option, spray your descaler heavily and then press cling film over the whole panel. Evaporation stops dead. The chemical just digests the scale for an hour while you go do something else.
And the third?
Thicken it. A pinch of xanthan gum turns vinegar into a gel that clings, which, by the way, is exactly what the expensive gel descalers are doing. You are paying for thickener.
Let me ask about the products people actually reach for, because I know our listeners have a cabinet full. Barkeeper's Friend.
Works, with one rule that almost nobody follows. Barkeeper's Friend is oxalic acid plus a mild abrasive. Their own directions say to rinse thoroughly within a minute of application and warn you not to let it sit longer or rub harder than necessary.
So it is on a timer.
Basically. And do not use it on coated glass at all, because the abrasives strip the coating.
Sealer?
Strong, effective on heavy scale, and it will not hurt plain glass. The problem is everything around the glass. It is corrosive to metal frames, tracks, and hardware finishes. So keep it on the glass, off the trim, and rinse well.
Magic eraser.
People need to understand what a magic eraser is. It is not a chemical cleaner. Melamine foam is an abrasive. It behaves like extremely fine sandpaper. Use it soaking wet with light pressure, never dry, and never on coated glass.
Steel wool. I know people are going to yell about this one.
Only the 0000 grade, and only absolutely saturated. Anything coarser scratches glass permanently. And a detail people miss, steel wool rusts almost instantly when it touches acid, so you have to rinse fast.
Okay, now I want you to do the one that is going to upset people. Baking soda and vinegar.
Yes, let us do it. Every cleaning article on the internet tells you to mix baking soda and vinegar, and they point at the fizzing as proof it is working.
And it is not.
The fizzing is proof of the opposite. Baking soda is a base. Vinegar is an acid. When you combine them, they neutralize each other. The fizz is carbon dioxide leaving. What you are left with is salt water and a mild abrasive slurry.
So you destroyed the thing that was going to do the work.
You took a perfectly good acid that was about to dissolve your lime scale, and you turned it off. If you want abrasion, use baking soda by itself. If you want to dissolve minerals, use the acid by itself. Mixing them gets you the weaker half of both.
That is going to annoy a lot of people.
It is chemistry. I am not making it up.
What about hydrogen peroxide? That one shows up constantly.
And this is a good example of why you should read what your door manufacturer says. Delta Shower Doors publishes a do not use list, and hydrogen peroxide is on it because it corrodes metal even at low concentrations. Their list also includes acetone, toluene, lye, and a couple of others, and several of those dissolve the silicone that keeps water inside your shower instead of inside your floor.
That is a real consequence.
Using the wrong product can also void your warranty, which people find out at the worst possible moment.
Let us do 2 warnings before we wrap the cleaning side. Safety first.
Never mix bleach with vinegar or with any acid. That reaction releases chlorine gas. Bleach and ammonia gives you chloramine gas. Both cause serious respiratory injury. The CDC documents this. If you have used bleach in the shower, rinse everything and ventilate before any acid goes near it.
And the second warning,
Natural stone. Vinegar is fine on glass. It is not fine on marble, limestone, or travertine, and this caveat gets left out of almost every article. Acid etches calcareous stone and it breaks down the sealer. The Natural Stone Institute is very direct about it.
and a lot of showers now have stone in them.
That is the thing. Design has moved toward natural materials, honed finishes, biophilic textures. So a travertine bench or a marble curb is common now, and your vinegar overspray is landing on all of it. Wet the stone first, apply acid to a cloth instead of spraying, and rinse the stone immediately.
All right, the question I get asked more than any other, how do hotels keep their shower glass looking like that?
No secret product. 3 structural things. 1. The glass gets squeegeed and buffed dry after literally every use. Water never sits long enough to leave anything behind. 2. A lot of properties run building-wide water softening, so calcium and magnesium get swapped for sodium, and sodium salts stay water-soluble instead of forming that concrete-like scale. 3. Commercial enclosures often get a hydrophobic coating specified at install.
And a homeowner can do all 3.
A squeegee is $8, a coating is not much more. And if your water is genuinely hard, a softener treats the cause instead of the symptom.
Speaking of coatings, walk me through those, because I think people get confused.
There are 2 totally different technologies with the same nickname. Factory inorganic coatings, like Guardian Shower Guard, seal the glass through a patented ion beam process during manufacturing. Because it is inorganic, Guardian calls it permanent and says it never needs reapplying. It prevents the reaction from starting at all. Guardian also rules out abrasive cleaners on it and says aftermarket coatings are not necessary or recommended on shower guard glass.
So Rainix over shower guard is wasted money.
Pretty much. Guardian says it is unlikely to damage the glass. They just will not guarantee it bonds or performs. Then you have aftermarket Selene coatings, EnduroShield, Diamond Fusion, and consumer products like Rain-X. Those bond to the hydroxyl groups on the glass and fill in the porosity, so water beads and runs off instead of sheeting and evaporating in place. EnduroShield says these can cut cleaning time by up to 90%.
How do you know if you have a coating?
Rinse a clean panel and watch the water. Tight beads rolling off means the coating is intact. Water spreading into a flat sheet means either you have no coating or it has worn away.
Okay, last section, and this is the one I think our listeners actually need. Somebody runs your test, gets the smooth but hazy result. What now?
Then we are honest with them, which is more than a lot of people in this industry do. No cleaner is going to help. Continuing to scrub only adds scratches on top of the etching, and micro scratches are harder to polish out than mineral pitting.
So the options are
Professional polishing or replacement. Polishing uses cerium oxide, a rare earth compound that supplier data sheets put at about 6 to 7 on the Mohs scale. That is right around the glass itself, and that is the whole point. Aluminium oxide is far harder. Corundum defines 9 on the Mohs scale, which is why it stays away from finished glass. Cut too aggressively and you have traded chemical hazing for mechanical hazing.
Can somebody do that themselves?
Really, no. It needs a rotary or dual-action machine at 1200 to 1500 RPM with a felt pad, worked in small sections with constant temperature monitoring. Get the glass too hot, and thermal expansion can shatter a tempered panel while you are standing in front of it. And hand polishing does not generate enough heat to trigger the reaction, so it just does not work.
Is there a catch even when it does work?
There is one people should know before they pay for it. Polishing strips the protective layer and exposes fresh, highly porous silica underneath. Unsealed, restored glass degrades faster than new glass, so sealing afterward is not optional. It is part of the job.
Which brings us to when replacement is just the better call.
Often it is. Polishing plus sealing a multi-panel enclosure can approach the cost of new glass, and new glass can be specified with a factory coating so the whole cycle does not restart. The signals we tell people to watch for are haze that survives a full acid treatment and feels smooth, visible scratches from earlier attempts, rusted or seized tracks, and water escaping the enclosure.
And sometimes it is not the glass at all.
Sometimes it is the frame. Framed sliders have channels and overlaps and a bottom track that hold water by design. Frameless panels have far fewer places for buildup to hide. So if you have never liked cleaning your shower and you were thinking about updating the bathroom anyway, that is worth factoring in.
All right, give me the closing summary. If somebody only remembers 3 things.
1. Diagnose before you buy anything. Touch it, wet it, 60 seconds. 2. Dwell time beats scrubbing every single time, so use the paper towel or the plastic wrap trick instead of a stronger chemical. 3. Squeegee after every shower and switch from bar soap to liquid body wash. Those 2 habits prevent most of what we talked about today.
30 seconds a day instead of 3 hours a year.
That is the trade.
If your glass has crossed the line and you want somebody to look at it honestly, USA Cabinet Store has 14 showrooms across Virginia, Maryland, North Carolina, Texas, New Jersey, Florida, and Tennessee. Consultations are free, and they will tell you if cleaning is still an option. There is a full written version of everything Jessica covered today on the USA Cabinet Store blog, including the product comparison table.
Which you should save before you reach under the sink again.
Thanks for listening to the Remodel Report. See you next time.